Good science, by definition, allows for more than one opinion. Otherwise, you merely have the will of one man, which is the basis of cult.
If it's not in frame, it doesn't exist.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
Where you been?
Drunk. Wendy? Darling? Light of my life.
What is your one purpose in life?
To explode, of course.
I like death with sex. How about you, Casey? You like sex with death?
Yeah, so fuck up and die.
Yeah, there's some good ones. I'm scared, dude, because my notebook's not in here, but I got it. I have over 100 written down.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well,
okay. Well,
but
we're not talking about horror movies today, bud. Not right now.
Oh,
not on this. Not on this potty.
Okay, you're right. This is the cult. This is the Cult of Cinema Knowledge podcast. I'm Levi. That's Jordan. We're just excited over here because
we are
Halloween. The spooky time is in the air. Next week we're going to be starting into horror movies here soon. But we picked the perfect genre this month, thriller movies, because a lot of them are quite horror adjacent. And I'm really glad that we also decided to go kind of chronologically because they always had like the suspense elements, but as we go farther along in the movies, they get like a little bit darker and grimier. So today's movie we're talking about is, was it 2002's David Fincher's Panic Room is what we're talking about today.
Which I can't believe how young it is. I guess
it's hip.
I mean, it's
hip,
old
baby.
now, but it's like I can't believe it was so like it was 2002. Man. Yeah, it's been 20 years. I pictured it as like a 2008. Yeah, it really holds up.
It does.
Right off my cuff. I think it was okay, but we'll get into that.
I thought it was among the best of the genre.
Right.
Not saying just thrillers, because honestly, I mean, David Fincher knows his thrillers, to be fair. But specifically the siege thriller. Like, the siege, the only other movie that does the siege thriller better, in my opinion, is Green Room.
Well, yeah, or, I mean, Funny Games really holds that up.
Fuck Funny Games. I love...
What?
Just kidding. I love Funny Games.
Funny Games and The Strangers.
It's fine.
That's more horror. I guess that's more horror, though.
But this movie, this is random, but speaking of Funny Games, did you say they did a remake for Goodnight Mommy? Did you ever see that? Anyway, moving on. But I noticed that what's her face is in that one too, and I was like, hey, it's like Funny Games. So this movie has got who? Jodie Foster and young pre-Twilight Kristen Stewart.
Right. And dude,
I always forget it's her.
And it's like wild that it's her because she's like a decent actress.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know what Twilight. I think it's just director. I think that really clearly just boils down to like she just probably just was not given any sort of direction.
No, those movies are terrible, and I'm amazed because I mean, look at Robert Pattinson too. He's one of the greatest actors of a generation, but nobody knows it unless they watch films because they're always like, "Oh, the Twilight guy." Nobody gives a fuck about that.
No, legitimately. I mean, he's kind of shifted into the Batman guy now. But that's a bummer.
It's because he does whatever he wants. But this movie, it's got a great cast, man. You got those two. It's only like 5 characters. Like it's Jared Leto when he was good. Forrest Whitaker, who I feel like was everywhere and now is nowhere.
I know, exactly. And it's like I feel like Forrest Whitaker's eye was less droopy. Like I feel like he seemed healthier in this, dude.
It was so droopy. It was on the back of his head. What are you talking about?
No, dude. I felt like he seemed fresher. I don't know.
He had way too many 1,000-yard stares in this movie that it was just like a fucking egg yolk.
I know.
Drifted away.
Dude, oh my god. Do you know if he had like a medical issue?
Probably.
Or is it just like,
I don't know. I love it though. I love it. I fucking love Forrest Whitaker.
No, dude, he's got such a look, dude. Such a character. And he's such a good fucking actor.
He's so good. But in America's Sweetheart, everyone knows Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah, thanks. Who is in fucking everything? He's in a lot of
random stuff, but it's just funny that beloved country music star Dwight Yoakam.
Oh wait, is he really a country music star?
He wasn't an actor. He was cast in this, and then he got like the acting bug, and then he was in everything.
Yeah, he was in a lot of stuff.
But he was a country musician in the 90s that my dad really loved.
Oh, and that's probably why Fincher used him, because I
100%.
didn't really know this about Fincher. This mother flipper directed like you said, like 80 music videos. Like
Dude,
I knew he did music videos and commercials. Like that was kind of like a thing. It was just one of those like background, like, oh, he came from that.
He's definitely
but I didn't
one
realize
of those guys.
it's like
a lot.
It's a lot.
And a lot of pretty big ones too. Like,
and was Alien 3 his first directorial debut?
That was his break.
Wild.
Yeah, and he's kind of disowned it since then. He's like, I learned a lot from it, but he considers like his real debut to be 7. You know,
7.
Which
sure
is
totally.
7. That's why for those you don't know, and then Jordan's gonna give you a synopsis.
I'm
the resident David Fincher fanatic around here, probably.
Right. No, you are.
And
you've talked about David Fincher being like your favorite director.
He's
top 3. Easy.
Top 3 for sure. He's top. It does rotate, for sure.
Right. Yeah.
But the old Fincher man, he's got a special place in my heart. So.
Well, okay. Let me read my little synopsis first, real quick, and then I can get into like. We can do like
the Fincher,
David Fincher ranked or something, because it's like we have an inside joke. Yeah. I know we have an inside joke of a Panic Room. What? Everybody,
shut up!
I'm gonna read the synopsis.
Shut up, everyone! Shut up! You driving there? Shut your mouth.
Yeah, if you're driving right now, you shut off your car wherever you are, and you listen to me. I'm gonna explain this film to you in the best way I possibly can.
You wrote this one?
Panic Room. I did write this. This is all me. Maybe you know what? I'm gonna start skirting around it and be like, I'm just gonna use a pen name. Like, no, I got this from Jervoston or something.
Yeah, Jervoston.
He's the one who wrote it.
That's it.
All right. Jordan Howard, wrote this. Meg Altman is newly divorced, looking for a home in the Upper West Side of Manhattan. She's with her moody, diabetic preteen daughter, Sarah, who's unimpressed with the 3-story brownstone mansion until she sees the state-of-the-art Panic Room, a steel, cold box with a thick sliding door and a security camera setup with intercoms that go throughout the whole house. Meg and her daughter, Sarah, move in on the same night that 3 men plan on breaking in to secure $3 million. One of whom is Junior, the grandson of the former owner. Junior hired Burnham, a safecracker who worked on the same model of Panic Room, and Raoul, balaclava-clad wild card, there to get his cut any way possible. Due to an escrow error, the men thought the house would be empty, and when the 5 people discover each other, a panic breaks out, and Meg has to fight for her and her daughter's life from the confines of the Panic Room. After several different attempts at scaring off the intruders, the situation escalates to the shocking events of Raoul shooting Junior in a money dispute, then threatening the same to Burnham unless he helps finish the job. All while Sarah goes into diabetic coma, and the ex-husband comes over and gets beaten. Meg slips out to get the life-saving insulin, leaving the Panic Room wide open for Raoul and Burnham to slip in and crack open the safe, finding $22 million. As they try to escape, Meg had booby-trapped her husband, who shoots Raoul as the cops rush in, catching Burnham, putting an end to all the hijinks. That's kind of it.
That's a good one.
It is a lot more. I'm sending that to you. It's a lot more epic in the climax.
A lot more details.
Like a lot more tussle. Yeah.
And let me say, just the husband does not get the justice of the final kill of Raoul. As to say, Burnham, because he has the best character arc, he could have got away, and he comes back because he has this weird moral code. He comes back, and he the whole movie he's not getting involved with violence, and so I feel like it's discrediting to him as a character. He comes back and he fucking saves Meg's life, who's about to get her head crushed with a sledgehammer, which is awesome, by killing Dwight Yoakam, and but because he went back, he ends up getting caught and probably going to prison for the rest of his life. But
oh, that's right. Oh, what does he do? Does he stab him? No, I don't even remember.
No, he shoots him in the back of the head.
Shoots him. Oh, he shoots him that. That's right.
Yeah, he shoots his eyeball out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. But
oh yeah,
because that is like the climax is fucking pretty intense. Yeah. Like I don't know, it's just well made film. Like, everything building up to it, like the movie's very tense, but just for something ingrained in my mind as a small child, like for some reason this movie when I first saw it, so I saw it when it was like when I was 10 when it like first came out.
Yeah.
And I guess I was like 11 or 12, but the one that the thing that always stuck with me until I watched it again in my great period of junior high. The thing that always had stuck with me is just right at the end when he's so wounded because he's such a good bad guy is
Dude,
Raul. But he's like dragging
like
himself across the ground with the sledgehammer, and it's just like the close up of him like across the hardwood. And the music is just swelling, and it's just so fucking intense. This whole movie is intense.
Know, dude.
It's intense.
It is, but I just like, I don't know. There's just something lacking about it. I think it is. It's intense when there's momentum, but I think there are just a few lags, and it's like it's appropriate to have like the moments of breath, and like it was nice to have like the scenarios, like the propane tank scenario, the like SOS scenario. That's a fantastic bit where she's like, "Where'd you learn SOS?" And she's like, "From Titanic." It's like, it's nice and topical, didn't age at all, and like the bit with the neighbor, so funny. No, that's legit. The first part, the Titanic thing, is sarcasm, but the bit with the neighbor where he gets up and closes the blinds, hilarious.
Oh yeah, he lives in fucking Manhattan, dude. You think he's like what the fuck is that? He literally can see them being murdered and be like blinds. Put
the blind. Yeah, I mean, because it literally like you're living in like the largest city in the U.S. and one of the largest in the world.
Yeah.
If a little light is flashing, you're not doing anything. There's nothing.
Absolutely not.
Like, you wouldn't do anything here. It's like in my little city.
Probably wouldn't even do anything here.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
A Karen would call and say they were annoyed. But.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. They would call the cops to get them. Yeah. To trouble.
But no. How many times have you seen this movie?
This is like technically it's my second time. So, like, I went in knowing... it was kind of nice because it was, like, refreshing. It was, like, the first time. I went in knowing the outcome, essentially. And, knowing some of the, like, the bigger beats of it. Or at least, like, the propane tank was a big part I remembered. I kind of forgot about the ending. I loved it, though, dude. She had her... When she has her husband in the chair and she tapes him up to the thing, like, with the lamp, so that his hand's up with the gun. That's great. I love that. I was just thinking Home Alone the whole time.
Honestly, though, this movie has something to...
Home Alone hijinks.
So
just
this
like breaking
movie,
the glass and stuff, so they come out.
I've probably seen this movie like, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. And the joke, like we said earlier, the joke was always...
Right.
So... I'm such a huge David Fincher fan, and we can all agree here anyway that David Fincher is a top-tier director.
Right,
and so the joke has always been, if someone who's good, all their filmography or all their collection of work is good, but their worst thing is still good, but it's Panic Room. it's what it always was.
And that's what this is. Yeah, it still holds up like that. Like, this is still a better movie than what you're getting a lot of the time.
We made the joke last time that Mank is now David Fincher's Panic Room.
Right. Because Mank, I feel like, is worse. And do you know what?
It's just a slightly weaker movie.
I was thinking about it. There's something about Mank where he uses implementation. What is that word? He uses CG in such a way. He implements CG in such a way in Mank that it doesn't seem like a constructive tool anymore, and it's almost kind of a substitute, which is like the worst thing you can do for CG. So in this film, and what David Fincher pretty much, like, at least, he didn't invent this per se, but he definitely perfected it, and he made it really popular, is doing that, taking the camera and going into spaces that are like impossible. Like following threads through like electric cables and following threads through like air ducts and stuff that's like, it's so small, and he'll cut through and he'll dive into, and you'll be POV through the world of like walls and stuff. He does it in all of his movies. In like Fight Club, he does it perfectly when he goes through and shows like the gas line.
Fight Club, I think, is where he really kind of went. They like let him go balls out. And
Right.
so, if anything, this movie, and I think this is why I've never had the same reverie for this movie as I do for some other movies in his filmography, is because so many of his other movies are like more impactful with like their message, or they have like some deeper philosophical undertones. Like even Fight Club, even
Right.
though he made before this, is like just as kind of crazy the way it's filmed. More so, probably this movie's a little bit more restrained.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit. I was watching an interview with him
But
about that.
my biggest thing about this movie to me is it doesn't feel dated necessarily. Like some of the CG, you could just tell it's CG, but it's fine.
That's kind of what I was getting at.
Like,
Is
it's
he
not-
uses
it's-
it as such a tool.
Yeah, it's not like so distracting, but for me as someone who's just like super familiar with the rest of David Fincher's filmography, this definitely feels like him as a younger man. Like this is him a little bit more like doing kind of flashier moves with the camera works. Like he just is much more subdued and more mature to like what he films these days. That when he does these kind of things, it's certainly not. He doesn't go fucking crazy with it like he used to. But he's got his way of having this floating omniscient. The camera
Right.
is like this presence, which wasn't really like as seen. Like people tried to do it, but he really did it really well with his film style. To like how, because like you said, it
Dude.
does crazy things that a normal camera can never do, and he was kind of like really the
It
first
took
person
him,
to
like-
really lean into it super hard. like
Dude,
that.
it took him like a year to get those shots done. It's wild, dude. This film production was huge. And this is why we like Fincher is he kind of like spares no expense, which is kind of old school filmmaking. Or like I feel like nowadays it's so formulaic where like they get a budget and you usually can't go over that budget at all. And you usually have to like really plan your shots and plan your days really well for most movies. But like Fincher, he's able to kind of like stretch that more and get kind of demand more, because I think his success from like Seven was a success. The Game kind of was like mid tier, but which is an amazing movie.
The
but I'm
Game
just
is
saying
closest to this movie, though, where it's just like, we always
Right,
used to say there's like, as pretentious as it sounds, and it's not totally necessarily true, but there's like, there's his films, and then there's his movies, right? And it's
right,
like,
his movies, yeah.
and this is, a top tier movie.
Well, and this is the reason he does it is because he does a hard, really labor intensive, like quote unquote passion project, Seven. Then he'll make a movie that's kind of just a fun idea premise, The Game. Then he did Fight Club, also passion project, really put like his life into it. And then
Yeah,
that
balls
was
to
like
the
that
wall.
had like, yeah, dude, like Fight Club was it's hard because I was saying we do like Fincher ranked, because I think Fight Club still sits as like my favorite movie by him, but that's really hard to say. But anyhow, let me get to my point real quick.
Mine changes all the time.
It does change often, yeah. But I think Fight Club always comes back to it. But anyways, Fight Club's amazing. And then he like Fight Club had like 100, I think it was like 146 different locations that they had to shoot at. And so he was like, I don't want to sprawl across all of like Hollywood and New York and stuff. He's like, I want to make a movie that's a little more like contained. And so he was like, I'm gonna go all the way and make it super contained. And so make it like a one set movie. And then for this set, dude, did you know about this? I'm sure you did, but how would they straight up, the only time that it's shot on location is the exterior when they walk up to the building, and then everything
sense.
inside is shot 100% on soundstage.
That makes sense.
They shot like 100% on sets, and they built like 3-story sets that can come apart. Because it's like how they shoot this movie, it's a maze. It's like it wouldn't function if you shot it on location.
Yeah.
He needed to be able to move walls, move the whole floor away.
Well, that's
And
what's
so it's like
fucking-
module or whatever.
That's
yeah.
what
So it's
I
like,
really love about one of the things I really love about his filmmaking, that he kind of like really went full bore with. This was like one of the he went full bore with Fight Club first, I think, but this he kind of like was like showing off, but in a contained space like that to show this like
he still went above and beyond.
floating, drifting
Yeah.
type camera that's like gets these perfectly in tuned, perfectly timed tracking shots that are like beyond technical. And that's what's
Yeah.
always been impressive about me is they're like literally somehow they like reach into the fucking actor's chest and mount the
Yeah.
camera to their goddamn rib cage, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just like so in tune with them.
It goes, yeah, it'll go through. Where in most movies you can kind of either see the cut when it does like a panning tracking shot,
Right.
and it goes through like a banister, it goes through a window. You can kind of, if you really look closely, you can see the cut or like the alteration.
Yeah, especially
or, like,
pre
or the camera
2000s,
dip.
like for sure.
Right. Yeah, pre-digital, of course. But it like with his movies, it's so seamless. You really do float through the walls, and it's like,
Yeah. Well, he's
it's
always
great.
said
I
in
mean,
interviews and stuff that he just like, I'm pretty sure a quote, and I think he was talking about this movie too. He was like something about like his cameras have like this detached omniscience, like, and he said like, because like it's not like he just filmed it. It's like whatever was gonna happen was always doomed to happen, and so it was like
cool.
it's kind of like it's just gonna happen no matter what. And so the camera is like this voyeuristic. He's definitely got a weird chub on for being like a voyeur. I don't know. He's got some opinions about that. It's kind of funny. I don't know, but it's interesting because you say your favorite one of his is Fight Club, and my favorite's probably Seven, but I think his best
it's Zodiac.
or no, sorry, my favorite is Zodiac,
Is Zodiac.
and his
Okay.
best is probably Social Network.
Do you think? I don't know, man.
When was the last time you fucking watched Social Network?
with you in theaters in 2010?
Watch it again.
No, I understand. I'm just saying, like, I still think Zodiac is his. I think Zodiac is his most
amazing.
is his like magnum opus. I think
Yeah.
he did more for Zodiac than any other movie. He put
100%.
more into that movie than
Zodiac.
anything else.
There's no other movies. I'm really mad that there's
So-
no other movies that are like Zodiac, like true crime type movies
Right.
that are on that caliber. Like there just can't be ever.
No.
Like I would like to see a true crime movie based on like a real life serial killer, or real life crime that's on to par with Zodiac. If you have one, please tell me because it doesn't exist.
I know, yeah, there's got to be something out there. Even just something you really like that's like, because I think it's just, yeah, it's just so, it's so tight. I don't know.
know.
Anything
This
about it's
movie,
perfect.
that's the thing about this movie, dude. It's like the camera knows when to kind of float around and like get into all these crazy scenes and like have the pacing. But the editing also, when it knows when to fucking cut, and the audio editing between like the microphones, it's like
That was a headache.
And
Dude. They
for
were in the
comedy
interview.
even.
Yeah, comedy. Well, they were talking about shooting on those CCTVs,
Yeah.
like those little cameras. They said that was a pain in the ass to like get the quality and the shots they wanted through all of those. And like what's really cool though is it shot chronologically. So like it like kind of, I think that's like the best way to do this kind of movie. It like, for the fact that there are so many moving pieces of each floor, somebody's in a different room, somebody's moving around, so I think it helped
think that's
them.
the
It helped
way-
them keep it tight, because that definitely didn't. I loved that. I was like, holy shit, that is really, the story is, it's like, this is a flawless film. I just don't think it was. I didn't really connect to it. I didn't really. I just thought it was fine.
That's the
That's the
difference.
whole joke.
That's
It's
the
like,
whole
it's
thing.
The panic room,
That's the difference. It doesn't have, the staying power of like a lot of other of films in his repertoire, where you're like just like thinking about or have like this huge, like these huge deep moments. Like this movie is just a straight up perfectly executed thriller though. Like it is
Well,
it just does
and-
everything it needs to do very well without ever going above and playing something that it's not. Like it knows exactly what kind of movie it is. Because at the end of the day, it is a genre movie, but it's like a very, but who doesn't like a good thriller? So it's like, it's not like niche or anything, but it's not trying to be Citizen Kane or something. It's trying to be the best version of this fucking tense ass siege. It's like Hitchcockian fucking cat and mouse.
That's 100% what it is. It is fun. It's fun that we did. I love that you did that. Like we went from generation to generation, and now we're like the 90s, 2000s, early 2000s. So it's like, it's really fun to watch the movies before. Like I think there was, like with Vertigo, I have a more fondness of it now thinking about it. I still like the glaring flaws of Vertigo
Yeah.
don't weigh on me as much
Yeah,
right now.
because you do remember.
You know, I see the influence,
You
of
remember.
course, and
You
so
remember the vibe, the
Right.
whole like feeling of it. I don't remember
the parts that
slogging
parts
through
that
2 hours of driving around San Francisco.
no, exactly, yeah. But where Basic Instinct is so visceral, this movie did not mix the two. It definitely stayed more Vertigo-esque. And so I kind of was bummed because in the interview he talks about the ending was a lot more violent and brutal. Like it's crazy. She breaks out of the house, climbs across to the neighbor's house, takes the sledgehammer, breaks through the wall of the panic room, and murders Raoul.
Nice.
And that's like an alternate. That was just an alternate written ending.
Yeah.
But then they shot like when Raoul gets his hand crushed in the door. It's like it shows it. It shows his hand. It shows it open up, and his hand is like mutilated and stuff.
So-
And I was like, I wish
I
I
don't
showed
know,
that. But
just
it is funny when he
The
you know,
mystifying of Raoul,
Yeah.
like he starts off so.
he's a great character. Yeah.
He's a great villain, man. He just starts
Great
out. He's so imposing and like threatening and mysterious that he slowly becomes less so, and he gets stripped down to like, no, he's just a fucking petty criminal. It's like
It's
slowly
more kind of violent.
Well, when
yeah.
and you see, like, I mean, obviously he's a psychopath, but like, that is willing to kill on a whim for money and feel no remorse for it. But like, you see his face and you're like, oh, he's like not so scary. He just looks like a regular guy now. If anything, he looks kind of weedy. You know what I mean? Kind of
Right.
weird and puffy and long hair and all that. And but then he gets his hand crushed and he's fucking acting like a baby. And then like, I mean, but who wouldn't? But it's just like it slowly takes him and breaks him down, where it's like the whole time the opposite's happening with Forrest Whitaker's character, and it's slowly building him up to like, he's got this weird standards, like he's doing these crimes and he's allowing the violence to happen, but like he's given the girl the injection, he's like doing what he can, and so that's why it's the final. He has the best character arc in the whole story, where he really does come with him at the end, where he's about to get away, and then he hears Raoul attacking the family, and he goes back and saves their lives, but it costs him his, and it's a good compromise for his character, because it's like, if he would have died, it wouldn't have been it would have been a bummer, because it's like he had a heart, kind of a heart of gold. But if he would have got
It wouldn't have
away,
been justified.
no, and if he would have got away,
And-
it wouldn't have worked either. It would have felt weird.
No.
So like it kind of is perfect. And
Yeah.
that moment, the climax, the moment when the cops find him, and he just like
Dude.
the reluctance of letting the bond slip out of his hand,
the
and it
papers
gets
go.
taken away by the wind. It's just so fucking cinematic, man. Like this
It was.
movie is
Yeah.
fucking cinematic.
The climax is clearly the best part, which I guess in a lot of movies it is, but I don't know. Basic Instinct had some really good stuff throughout the whole thing.
This movie's
No,
100
but-
times better than Basic Instinct. Come on. I
No.
know. Yeah, dude.
I don't think so.
You're-
I don't know, man. I think I'm coming.
You're
I
out
told
of your
you.
mind.
I told you. We've talked about this before. Everybody at home, you heard me. Mark it down. I said this movie is flawless. I just don't. I would rather watch Basic Instinct again than watch Panic Room again.
That's
But,
fair. I mean, that's fair just
you know,
because I've
that's just
seen
it.
Panic Room.
It's
I've
just
seen Panic Room enough times.
But
I probably
even if
never need to watch it again.
Right, and
But I'm
I-
always happy
I-
to watch it again. I feel like I would get more out of a rewatch of Basic Instinct just because I've only seen it once. But
Sure. Okay, let's just imagine we've seen them the same amount of times. I'd rather watch Basic Instinct again.
Never.
But I don't know.
I don't know.
No,
Hard to
dude.
say. Because this movie, dude, like, say what you will. Because honestly, I've come around. Because I used to. You would have asked me 5 years ago what I would rate this movie. I would have given like a 3.5, just for the benefit of the doubt. Like it's good, it's fun, but it's not particularly memorable. But every time I watch it, though,
Yeah.
it is just so well made and so tight.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
does such good, like, honestly, it shows, like, it's a good script and it's solid and it does the job, but at the end of the day, this is 100% a showcase of fucking great direction. Like, it really shows the creative decisions being made in this, like, from the editing down to, like, the choices of, obviously, the camera stuff, to, like, the way it's shot, to the fucking acting is some of the best of these guys' like the only person to get good performances out of Jared Leto ever is David Fincher. Like,
Yeah.
it's because he
Wait,
knows how to.
is he in anything else?
He's in Fight Club.
Oh my God, duh. Yeah. Well, but he's only in Fight Club for like 10 minutes, right? He's only in that.
Yeah,
He's
I
only in
guess
the
so.
he's only in the fight ring. So it's like he's just the
he's
one
in
that
a
he's just the
bunch of
pretty
more-
boy.
Yeah, he is.
He's in the pretty boy that gets his face crushed. But it's like spoilers.
Spoilers
like,
for Fight Club.
Yeah. But I don't know. I know what you're saying, and it's funny. I like Jared Leto, but I don't know. He's take him or leave him in this movie. He's kind of he plays the character well. I guess you're right. Yeah, he gets.
Well, that's what I'm
gives great
saying. It's
direction.
like he just does. Yeah. Every single thing about this movie is performed to the utmost that it could be. Like I feel like this thing is firing on all cylinders, and is 100% at its potential. There's not anything in this movie that I'm like, oh, they could have done this better. You know what I mean? Like I feel like again, I feel like it does everything it needs to do extremely well, and I'm not even kidding. I was gripping my couch, dude. I was fucking gripping my couch.
You said that in your review, like
Well, usually
you were
that's
like, at the edge of my seat, gripping my couch.
Dude,
I'm like, what? Are you?
I'm
like, dude, no suspense at all. Like, it's like the intensity of like, oh, she has to get somewhere, and it's like kind of just it's clearly it's implied in the whole.
It's
the
not
whole
about the
premise of the movie.
Jordan.
So
it is not about the nuts and bolts. It is not about like she has a thing she needs to do and then she does it. It's
right.
It's how it's executed. It's the cinematic nature of the swelling of the music, of the constant threat of danger.
I get it. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's just like it's the fact that it's like it is a classic premise.
No,
it's
it's
like
not
good
well,
respect.
and what's good is anyone can. It's not like super sophisticated of a movie, which I kind of appreciate, and I think that's why it's kind of lower regarded. Like, for example, Basic Instinct is much more of a mystery, whodunit, kind of like, ooh, there's all these clues, and is it this, is it that?
The crime thriller
This movie
part of it,
is it's what's happening in front of you is what's happening. Like it's very straightforward and very easy to follow, but the fact that it's so meticulous about how it goes about it and so cinematic in the way that it does it, just kind of like lets you get sucked into it. And I think there's a certain place for those kind of movies that are just so like that. Because like Green Room's the same way. There's no huge mysteries. It's just classic stakes. And like, you got like.
I guess it's just Green Room has a different skin. It's just like that. So I just like Green Room more because
Green Room
violent
is
punks. So
Green Room is fucking made for me. That's my kind of movie for sure.
And Green Room really is like, I guess it really is like it's like 100% identical. So,
but that's what I'm saying. It's like this.
Just more violent.
It is, and it's about punks and skinheads, which is just and that I do relate to.
The music in that is sicky icky.
Yeah.
The music in this is like classical. I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. I guess it's weird. Soundtracks to me are not the most important thing. I don't notice them all the time. Sometimes I just follow the background and it fits well with the movie.
Yeah.
And so it's like where Green Room like has a sick soundtrack.
Well, that's the difference. It's like this movie again, because I always notice the score because it can really make or break it for me.
I mean, I do too. Like watching a movie, I know, but notice it. But I think it's not as important to me.
I know. Yeah, I totally know what you mean because this movie, it is a fairly basic score, but it's like, I don't know. It never does the full, like the whole time. It's like I want you to feel tension, and then when I'm not there. Like it doesn't like rely on the cheaps where it like does a crazy huge swell scare or whatever. It's like it does it, but it's also kind of like weirdly like, and again, this is like a turn of the century modern, like with the way it looks, but the way it sounds too. It's almost got like a little bit of a classic thriller score, but also kind of like a little bit of that, like, I don't want to say like techno-y, but like it's got like I don't know, it's got this more modern sound to it. That is definitely more digital. That I think is interesting. Dude, fucking, did you forget Jared Leto was in Morbius? Come on, I'm looking at this right now.
I love him in Blade Runner, but it's like he's only in that for 10 minutes too. It's like
Yeah, I know, and he's also in American Psycho for like a minute.
Shit, yeah, you're right. God, dude, he's barely in that. Actually, to think of it now, Jared Leto is such a fucking huge star for not really being the main actor in, in things.
Well, you know, he is the main actor in, and he's fucking
yeah.
amazing in. And I don't know why this wasn't the first thing I thought of, because for some reason it's not Jared Leto. Because when I saw this movie, I had no idea who Jared Leto even was. It was Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, duh. Well, yeah, and then that, like, yeah, but he's so young. It is young Jared Leto.
That's what I'm saying. It was before I saw that
hits,
movie before he was that famous.
God,
That movie's
yeah.
good. We should watch that movie.
But, dude, I know we gotta find. God, I don't even know how to find. Wait, we should have watched that in like Surreal or something like that when we did Cerebral.
Well, we should watch like drug movies, so we could put Train Spot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good drug movies.
That is well, dude, and you had like Shallow Graves, right? For one of the
Yeah.
wasn't one of the thrillers Shallow Graves. That I was like, I was
Yeah.
just thinking now, and I'm like, God, that is a memorable movie for like.
I love
and it's funny because Shallow Graves is so indie, but yet it's so memorable for the soundtrack and the like. It like I like
Well,
visually how it looks, but I mean that's
Shallow
Danny
Graves.
Boyle's soundtracks are like
Danny
amazing, so.
Boyle, man,
His soundtrack's
I miss that guy. I literally have a Train
know.
Spotting poster on my wall right here, and it says "From the makers of Shallow Grave" on it, which is
yeah.
interesting because Train Spotting obviously is what put him into another stratosphere. Anyway, we're not talking about Shallow Grave. We're not talking about Train
Welcome
Spotting.
to Coldest Tunnels
This is,
podcast. Where we're talking about
Danny
Fincher's
Boyle's
2002.
illustrious career.
Yeah, but it really I don't know like talking about this movie because it is so straightforward and so tight and so well done. I think I will always remember it, but I'm never gonna be like I'm never gonna be itching to watch this movie again. I don't know. I
think
feel
that's
kind of bad about that.
I
But it's just-
understand why you.
his
understand
career
that.
his career is so saturated
Well,
with like bangers that
Here, let me put it this way then. This movie is not thought-provoking. Like, so many films that we watch, like, we've come so far in our filmography and watching movies that we like, we like a simple movie, which I think this movie is fairly simple. But we like a movie that we can chew on. Like, this is not like a Kaufman movie where it's got, like, all these weird dissecting layers and shit. Sorry, I'm chugging this beer and I'm trying not to burp into the mic so David doesn't yell at me.
yeah. So I don't yell at you. You didn't stop.
I know. I didn't. But I don't know. It's because this movie's not. It's such a specific thing that it does, and it just does it so well. And I think it's what makes it was popular, because I remember it being quite popular, but also what makes it really good is it's just like it's accessible. I don't know. It's like it's like smart in what it does, but it's not like overly above anyone's head. Like it's really anyone can watch this and enjoy it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it
I would
where-
recommend
where
this in a
most-
heartbeat.
Or most movies that do that nowadays, I feel like, not always, but like I feel like are talking down at people in a way.
Yeah.
Like I do feel like a lot of big
Well,
movies that do
look
this
at-
kind of thing are very wide, just like how can we cast a wide net kind of thing. And like this movie's just like, let's just focus on what we want to do. Creating tension is the name of the fucking game. And then so they just do that with every scene and every shot and every fucking minute of audio and that audio editing and the fucking I really enjoyed it for that. I don't know, because it's not, it's just a movie. It's just like it's a simple movie.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point where it's like it's almost like a movie that wants to be this simple kind of can't be this simple anymore. And even for 2002, it's kind of like an oddity that it worked so well. Because it's like even by that time, because he did the game, which spoiler alert for everybody out there, cover your ears. He did the game before this movie, Panic Room, and it is almost like it has to be. It's more sophisticated in its storytelling, even though it's a pretty straightforward movie. It just has such a unique twist. It's almost like it's kind of at that point where it needs to be the like gotcha, like the Sixth Sense twist. It was in that. It's
gotta be. Everyone's like, it's
generation.
like either I'm a dumb popcorn movie or I'm like a sophisticated thriller that makes you feel smart, like a twist type of thing. And it's like, you're right. It's like people can't just make a simple movie that's really well executed without it being, I don't know, because the closest thing you get to that these days are like, your Marvels and stuff, which again I feel like are kind of talking down at you a lot of times. I don't know. They're like, because this is like an adult movie. I don't know. Those are kids' movies. Like, they're for everyone, and this movie's for, like, any adult you pop on. I feel like being in 2002, popping it on with your girlfriend at a late night and just watching this like intense thriller on the old VHS.
No, Victoria hated this movie.
Did she?
Yeah.
See, Mary really liked it.
Oh, see, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Dude, I think another one of his David Fincher's films that kind of talks down to you is Gone Girl. It almost sits there where it has to be like, it has to kind of just be like, do you get it? Are you able to understand what I just did to you with this movie? I personally love it. I think Gone Girl is amazing, and I think it's one that you should watch again because I know you didn't really like Gone Girl.
I love Gone Girl. What are you talking about? I probably gave it 4.5 stars too. Go look.
No way.
I love Gone Girl.
Okay. I thought you didn't really like it.
It wasn't. No, I really liked it. I had the different effect though, where it's like first time I saw it, I really loved it, and then the more I watched it, I still really liked it. But I was also just like, yeah, it's it's good. It does what it's good, but it does feel like it wants to be smarter than it is.
No.
But I think that at the end of the day, like it's a good script, and I want to read the book. That's that Gillian Flynn book or whatever. I want to read that book because I do get the vibe that it does feel like a book. Like the way it's structured is kind of funky.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? No, I really like Gone Girl.
Well,
I think I was gonna say if you like this, watch Gone Girl.
Watch Girl.
Because
Yeah.
I think
No,
it's
really,
the everything he's made post Panic Room has been, it's like I don't know. I feel like that was more like a little bit crazier, a little bit more memorable, maybe. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Gone Girl. I think that David Fincher should just stick with animation from now on because his Love, Death, and Robots
It's so
installment was amazing.
Well,
yeah.
See, no, I guess that's not true because like his there's two movies that were made between Gone Girl and Panic Room that I feel like actually weren't very well received, and that's not even including Mank,
Right.
which nobody really liked.
Well-
Mank. I liked Mank. I appreciate it for. I'm more excited for
I don't-
his next movie, The Killer, with Michael
I
Fassbender. But
Yeah, I want to know how he got caught up in making The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, like American remake.
I feel
Right when The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo came out.
I remember. I don't know. It's weird
It's
I
weird.
I
right?
remember watching both of them around the same time.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, loving David Fincher's version. Fucking love it. And I remember being like, oh, okay, so David Fincher saw, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the Dutch version or the Swedish version or whatever, and was like, okay, let me show you how it's done. It's just like, went and did it. And a lot of people disagree with that, but I fucking love his version. But again, because that's his closest movie to like Seven or something. It's a very like moody serial killer type thriller that really crushes it. But I feel like a lot of people forget about Curious Case of Benjamin Button too, which is a lot of fun. That one's like a little bit more of a
Dude, I'm really
like a lighter. I haven't watched it in a long time. I should watch it again.
It's funny though, I call it his oh my god, what's that one called? Big Fish or whatever. What was that Tim Burton movie?
Is it Big Fish?
Is it Big Fish?
Is
What's the Fish Town or like
real big fish?
Yeah. No, but it felt like that kind of like it's his like it explores like the entire life of a human being and it's told through like
that. It feels like
a narrative,
an Odyssey
right. It's being narrated.
Just a fun little thing.
Told through narration. So it's great.
Go
I kind of
go-
forget about Curious Case too.
Me too.
I love that movie.
That one
Yeah.
I think I forget about the most probably.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor and go watch Social Network again though, man. That Social Network,
Okay.
every time I watch it, like I've probably seen it the same amount of times, like 5 or 6 times, and every time I watch it, I'm like, this movie's a fucking masterpiece, and it's so subtle. Like I feel like this is really just showing off, just like so restrained, but it's just like I think that Social Network is almost as tense as Panic Room. Like I'm gripping my fucking seat during Social Network.
I can see that.
But it in different ways. I don't know. But anyway, well, let me pull up a Reddit or two to see what any of our adoring cult members, fellow film goers have to say about it. I'm supposing you have a money minute in your back pocket, but hold on. You gotta save that for when I look for Travis's.
Correct.
So
I can give you a fun little tidbit real quick though. I was gonna do a new segment where it's like I don't know what I was gonna call it. I was gonna call it like you know, shot watch or something, or like this
shot
is
watch.
like take like maybe like, you know, take one, click or something, because it's like David Fincher's like notorious for, I know take one's pretty good. He's fucking notorious
it's like
for
a candy bar.
Like yeah. Oh dude. Oh, take one. Yeah. That doesn't exist, right? Is that, or take five? Huh?
Take five.
So yeah. But it's like he does a lot of shots. He's like a lot of auteurs out there. They'll just film and take shot for shot to kind of get you there. And like we were talking about that with Francis Ha, where they did like 46 takes, because it was like after like 15 you're like, God, this feels awkward, but then after 25 you're like, okay, I'm in the zone, I'm in the mood, you know.
Yeah,
for
and I can kind of try what works.
Right, yeah. And with this one, David Fincher didn't actually go shot crazy like he normally does, but he because it was shot chronologically, so they had so much planned. But to do Meg, the character, whatever her name is it Foster, Jodie Foster, tries to throws in the bag with the insulin. So when she's going in the diabetic coma, she runs out, gets the bag, and there's like this huge, you know, she has to throw it before the panic room door slams shut, and it's super, super crazy fast. That took 103 takes to get the bag in the door.
Take one,
dude.
snap.
Yeah, take one. And then I was gonna go take one. That's because Take Watch, dude. It's like all
take
these.
I
don't know. But it really is. It's like there are a lot of movies that we do
that is kind of interesting, though.
So many takes. Yeah,
it just counter interesting. It's interesting to hear when it's like, hey, one and done. They fucking nailed it first try, and they ended up using the first take.
Right. Which is weird.
That's fun. So here's for those of you with a camera. Here's what is on the Reddit.
What? Oh, 0 comments?
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought for sure I even commented. So I'm surprised I went back and looked and I'm like, did I not comment?
You didn't comment? I wonder what we commented on.
Maybe I probably gave
on the poll. Go look at the poll. Do you look at that?
Maybe.
So sometimes people comment we'll like put the poll up. So for everybody out there, if you would like to go to r/coldest knowledge, it's a website that we kind of use most of our ideas
Reddit.
off of and stuff.
It's a community on Reddit.
Yeah. And so it's a great place to be. You can go to coldestknowledge.com and comment on the movies that we post there. And that's
Listen here,
too.
kids. There's this website called reddit.com, and it's going to change the world. We have our stuff on the platform. Boy,
it's the front page of the internet.
It's this thing you've never seen called a forum. But we got polls on there that have that. Dude, and I thought for sure I commented. Somebody said something about Panic Room, and then I watched. There's some old poll, like some old thing I commented on from like The Man from Nowhere, and I got on there drunk and was like, Panic Room is so fucking cool. Like,
yeah,
probably not though, because I just watched it last night, so I don't know. I guess I did.
Yeah,
I guess I did.
Probably not.
Probably
you don't really
not.
talk about Panic Room. We talk about Panic Room as being the inside joke more than anything else.
It still will be.
Now,
because...
you out there, it's Panic Room. If you're like, oh, that movie isn't very good by this director, it's their Panic Room. But it's still a good movie. It's their Panic Room.
Still a good movie, but it's just like the least best.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. All right. You got Travis up or what?
Oh.
You want me to?
No, I didn't do that. Yeah, but give me a money minute and I'll pull up Travis's.
So Fincher basically just gets, like, what they do is they like knock on Fincher's door and they go, "What's your project, bud?" And then they just wheelbarrow in bricks of gold and loose doubloons and like whatever.
Yeah, just a pile of doubloons, surely.
Whatever money. It's like whatever he wants. He's like, bones are made of titanium. He gets as much money as he wants for this little fucking bottle movie. This one set, 24-hour film. It was $48 million to shoot. That was the budget for this.
You know, but they did, that is a lot for this type of movie, but it does show.
Oh, of course.
For sure.
No,
like they use that dollar for sure.
Of course. Well, and it's wild. They had, I think a lot of the budget went to pre-pro, which is a lot of his thing
Well, and
too.
obviously
But,
this building the set, like you said.
dude,
And
right, exactly. That's a huge part of it. But Nicole Kidman was actually,
I was
I
about
think
to
she got
say-
paid out. So
Yeah.
you've probably heard about that clearly.
I've
So
seen
it's like,
the footage, yeah.
yeah, right. Nicole Kidman she shot like 3 weeks
Yeah.
or like 4 weeks on
That really
in this
famous
project.
shot, the like sideways tilt of her laying in
That-
bed with
Yeah.
the Forrest Whitaker standing behind, which what a great shot that is. But like the moment
so
when
good.
Forrest Whitaker comes in and sees for the first time the nightlight
Dude.
in the bathroom, his
So good.
reaction, it's like that's the thing I like about this movie. There's no big exposition dumps. Like everything you get, you get
Yeah.
through snips of dialogue and through character
is
and
really
being
nice.
shown.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't just pile on. There's no monologue or anything.
No, and I love watching people crack safes, and it's so
I know.
fucking
I was
good in
literally
this.
like,
It's so good in this, dude. With
is
the
there
little
a school
the little,
to
like,
go to for safe cracking? Like, I want to go.
Dude, all the movies I've ever seen that have, dude, that should be a genre we do one month, because it's like safe crackers, dude, is a good one, and then like fucking Rafifi.
Yeah. Well, we tried to do Rafifi, but we couldn't find it anywhere.
Oh, that's
At all,
right.
huh?
Yeah,
Which was bullshit.
even more high seas, but
Anyway, so how much did it pull in? 48 mil.
no, no, of course, it was 48 mil budget, and then at box office 197.
Okay.
So come
Okay.
on,
That's
come
pretty
on.
good.
But this is my speculation. I believe that is 100% solely to do with Fight Club's popularity. Fight Club blew up, took the world by storm, and then I feel like every person was like, "Oh, the dude who did Fight Club's new movie's out."
True.
You know, and they all
This
went
was
to see it.
this was
So,
one of the
but-
big first post 9/11 like
Yeah.
because the era of the 90s started making a comeback of like, so in the 70s there was like the horror movies that were like they come to you at your home. It's like this, like you're not safe in your home, you know. And they kind of went away, and then they started coming back in the 90s where it's just like, you know, this like threat, this domestic threat, if you will. And this is like the first movie that, like, because it kind of ended after this too. You didn't really see a lot after that, but the 90s were full of them. And this movie like benefited. It's like the peak of that genre out at the back of all that. But like it's the first movie that's like, because it came out like March 2002 or something. And it's like one of the first movies like post 9/11. It takes place sort of in Manhattan. I mean, it could take place in any large
Sure.
city. But
No, but it is. I mean, it's specifically. I think they make it. They do like.
But this was filmed
glorify
before
Manhattan
that,
and
though. You know, it's filmed before it, and
Sure. Yeah.
and so it's like with editing and everything. But it's just
Yeah,
interesting.
because
I
this was a
feel
really
like,
long production too.
Yeah, I feel like at the time it kind of came out at the perfect time too. It's like there's this general uneasiness. It's about like not feeling safe at home and locking yourself inside from like the big bad intruders. I feel like it did just really struck a chord with Americans specifically for the time it came out, and yes, being the guy who made Seven, it's like, and they just like that was just an unnerving movie. But again, I feel like it didn't really, like, people were like, oh yeah, the movie was fucking awesome, but they forget about it. It's one of those movies they're like, oh yeah, Panic Room. Yeah, Panic Room's fucking cool. Yeah, check out Panic Room.
No, dude, not.
But
a
nobody's
single,
going around being like,
So my new job, everybody there, they're on the pulse. They really like film.
well, it came out 20 years ago. I mean,
Like,
I
legitimately. No, but they're like David Lynch and Cronenberg stuff. Like they're on the pulse. And this movie, they're like, oh yeah, it's one of those like, oh yeah, that movie. You know,
Yeah.
so it really did kind of fall in the wayside.
and it is, I think a lot of it is because it's overshadowed by David Fincher's other movies, because it's like he's done way better movies than this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
agree.
And again, it's not that it's not a testament, but it's like if he didn't do anything else ever again after Panic Room, it still wouldn't be remembered as fondly because it's not as good as
fond-
Seven or Fight Club. You know?
Yeah, that is true.
But those movies are
Oh.
like, those movies are fucking genre defining, decade defining. Like people, when you look up a list of the best thrillers ever made, you're going to see both of those movies. You look up the best movies of the 90s, you're going to see both of those movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's just like, it's a hard act to follow. I get it.
Right.
Those
But
are
it's still, but it did
God,
great at the box office.
I
He's
haven't,
fine. He's
God,
got.
I haven't, yeah, he's fine. They
has money.
give him gold doubloons still anyway.
Yeah, yeah, right.
God, I haven't seen Fight Club in like 10 years probably.
Dude, same. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
if not longer, man.
Yeah.
I need to see that again because I
Better.
love it. But
I mean, I've seen it. I remember when I first time I saw it on VHS in my little TV VHS combo in my bedroom when I was like
Yeah.
14 or whatever, and I literally was like, oh my god, and the Pixies are playing at the end. I was like
Tell me about it, baby.
grabbing my TV and shaking.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Kids won't know. Old TVs used to make a lot of noise.
Yeah,
they
dude.
just when they were on. Like you would turn them on, and then you'd be in the other room, and there would just be noise. You would just hear. You would feel the TV talking to you, dude. Videodrome style.
It is.
All right.
Anyway, while I was doing Travis's thing.
Yeah, can you hear me, Travis's?
Sorry.
I need to hear from Travis.
All right. Okay, you ready?
Hey guys, Panic Room for me was an okay thriller. Having seen it years ago, I had high expectations for the rewatch, but it didn't do it for me this time around. Although I appreciate a tense home invasion movie, I kept thinking about the size of that place in Manhattan, where just two people would be unbelievably expensive. That made it hard for me to see them as relatable characters. Also, having never seen a Panic Room in person, it felt like this was a uber-rich problem scenario. I think my favorite part was watching Raoul pick up his fingers after leaving the Panic Room in agony. When I think of home invasion movies, Funny Games and Us first come to mind. And when I think of ultra-tense movies, I picture No Country for Old Men and A Quiet Place 1 and 2. So my question today is, which titles come to mind for you guys when thinking of home invasion and ultra-tense movies? Thanks.
Ooh.
Fuck you, Travis.
Thank you for the question. No.
I'm just kidding.
Travis
I'm just
got-
kidding.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's like
I
ultra
get it.
tense to me. Ultra tense is like irreversible.
Yeah.
Or, like I don't know. I get. It's like even like high tension. Fucking Antichrist. Those kind of. I don't know. Like something where like a person gets in a situation.
Yeah.
That,
I mean, most lately I'm
brutal,
thinking
I
of like
know.
the Safdie brothers, like Good Time and like Uncut Gems and stuff, like those like really anxiety-inducing type of tension.
Yeah.
But that's kind of different because that one's like these characters making horrible, stupid decisions that you're like, oh my god, why no? Where this like these kind of movies, like No Country for Old Men, No Country for Old Men, like he says. And this, or people are making smart decisions, but they're tense for different reasons. But in Quiet Place 1 and 2 is tense for its concept only, and they're well made. And honestly, have you seen the second one?
I didn't see the second one, but I heard good things.
It's better than the first one, I think.
Oh wow, okay, cool.
I mean, the first one was fine. The first one was pretty good, and the second one was really good too. I liked it.
It's I think of Quiet Place as being the greatest Last of Us adaptation that'll ever exist.
Until The Last of Us comes out in a couple months. Come on.
I don't know. I don't
Have you
my
seen the
hopes.
trailers? It looks good.
I don't know, man. Not until it's out, man.
Yeah, that's true. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, dude. Oh my god, I watched Paper Girls. Okay, anyways, that's for the ramble.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
But yeah, Travis, home invasion. I mean, we kind of. I think like when I mentioned. I say Strangers. I've only seen The Strangers once, and I really liked it, and it's super intense. But I want to see Don't Breathe. I haven't seen that. That's like a home invasion movie that I like.
Saw Strangers in theaters, loved it, but every time I've watched it since then, I like it less.
Okay.
It does not. To me, it doesn't really hold up as much. Honestly, I kind of like Strangers 2 more now.
Oh wow. Okay.
Just because it kind of does something a little bit different with the formula, and it's pretty fun. Don't Breathe sucked. I hated it.
Did it really?
No,
shit. Okay.
it was fun. I actually really like Don't Breathe. The first half of Don't Breathe. I hate the second. There's like a lot of weird logical inconsistencies that I don't like. I really like the style of the movie though, so I would watch it again just because I think it's cool. But now I'm trying to think. Like honestly, Funny Games is great. Hush, like that like slasher where the guy's trying to break into the deaf woman's home. It's like a Netflix movie. Have you seen that? Hush?
No, I didn't see that. It's on my list, though.
I put it on my horror movie list, too, possibly. But that's a really good home invasion movie, and it's like 80 minutes.
Yeah, nice.
Now I'm, like, trying to think, like, what's that one with Dustin Hoffman? That older one. Straw Dogs. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, right.
Straw Dogs is good. Now I'm looking.
I don't know. I feel like there's a movie that kind of freaked me out that was really intense that oh my god. It's like the babysitters getting like phone calls and they're really creepy. Holy crap.
Is it
You
when,
would know.
When a Stranger Calls?
When a Stranger
Like
Calls.
the original one, though. Right?
But the original is good. But I actually fucking love the sequel or the reboot.
The
soft
2006 reboot?
Yeah.
Huh.
Or is it 2006? No, I think there's one from the 90s. Fuck, dude. And it's called something different, man. Oh my god. So.
See, when I think home invasion movies, though, I do think like I'm thinking.
When a
like,
Stranger Calls Back. 93.
Oh, so it's the sequel
Dude,
then? Yeah.
When is it? Yeah, I guess sequel. Dude, that is amazing. That is a really good movie, and that's super creepy intense. Well, it's got really bad ratings, but
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. I think it's great.
That's hard to say because it's like I think of home invasion movies, and it's like I honestly go to think of like I combine them with the Siege movie because it's like for some reason in my brain, even though it's not a home invasion, it's lumped in with like Night of the Living Dead. It's lumped in with like Precinct 13.
Right, yeah.
It's lumped in
I
with
can see
this, which I guess is a home invasion movie, but like it's also lumped in with Green Room, which is like it's the whole idea of like someone's holed up and they gotta like it's very much Home Alone, like you said. They're holed up, they gotta keep the bad guys out, and it's that tension of like how do I? Because that's just a classic scenario. It's like you're in there, I want to get in there, I don't want you to get in there. It's the two opposing forces. How do you keep that interesting for an hour and a half? You have to like think of some like small but clever like back and forth. And Panic Room I think does that fucking top notch. Of the siege idea.
Yeah.
Home invasion
Right.
as the home invasion itself. I think like Funny Games does it like scarier. And
Right.
more
I mean,
like I think Funny Games is
Visceral.
a more interesting movie.
Yeah.
Because it does a lot about like viewership and
Well,
it's like the way
and then again,
the way it
and it's
breaks
like-
the fourth wall and like
The breaks the fourth wall and like mental health is like a huge part of it. Like their dependency on each other is like it I don't know, it's like an overarching theme of like their kind of senseless violence. It's great.
yeah.
Funny Games is dope.
Funny Games is great.
Those brothers are great. But no, it's funny. I was thinking Forrest Whitaker when I was watching this movie. The only reason he went back to help is because his fat ass couldn't get over that fence the first time he tried to jump. Yeah. If he could have like Bad Boys it over there and just like one like full swoop and he could have flipped over that wall,
He wouldn't have
his
heard
ass
the
would have been
screaming.
gone. He would have been gone, but he runs over to the wall and he's like, oh. It's like us. Don't worry. If we were trying to flee a crime scene, we would get caught.
I know he's just like, oh, I guess I better go be noble and shit.
yeah, right. Yeah,
funny.
But dude, and I love a thing about it in that interview I watched. This is totally a tangent for the end. We're gonna end it here because we have a life. But when they did the rain, it was dope, dude. They had a rain machine that was blasting like a fine mist,
Well, the whole
and then
movie's so
a rain
oppressive,
machine.
yeah. and the
Oh,
rain.
it's so boxed in. You can't see the outside world because there's so much rain. The rain's so violent itself, dude. It like holds you in. It's great. This is a great movie. I said it's a flawless film.
Oh, I'm not trying to convince you. I
won't remember this.
We're doing a podcast, sir. I'm trying to sing its praises because I'm trying to, for the people out there that's not you and Travis, they're going to listen to Levi and be like, yeah, you know what? That guy gets it.
Sure. I wonder, we need to do a poll on that. Who do they like more? But whose opinion do they trust more?
I know, right?
But I know whose it is.
We
But,
almost always agree, though. Let's be honest.
That's true. We know we really do, because you are me, but
I know you're a figment of my imagination. You're my Tyler Durden.
You're my Fight Club.
Yeah.
Okay, exactly. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Something about the rain. It was cool. It's
Forrest
like they had like
Whitaker's
blowing
Arrival,
sideways and
which is
stuff. Arrival, baby. That's a great movie. And I'm sad for the next film we watch. It's not going to be Sicario.
So I thought for sure we should still watch. We should still watch it. But here's the thing. I thought for sure.
Wait, we didn't do. What was your favorite part? Yeah.
Sledgehammer. I don't know.
Oh,
Clawing
him-
across the
him.
ground, him with the sledgehammer.
Right. Yeah.
But I actually
think
really my actual favorite part is the first time she gets out of the room, just because it's so well edited, and it's like they're arguing on the stairs, and it's like you can't hear, and it's like slow, and it's the audio's gone.
That's dope.
And the
dope.
lamp falls, and it's the cut of the like it goes off, and Forrest Whitaker's reaction, and they all run up the stairs, and it's super. I don't know. It's super intense and it's super cinematic. Like, it's the whole movie. Sorry, you don't like intense cinematic movies. 2.5 stars. Get the fuck out of here. I just saw your rating.
Yeah, dude. I know. I give it 2. And 3 just felt like not as something I want the world to know.
2.5 stars is below average, sir.
Nah, it's fine. It's like right in the middle. But I do agree with you, Travis, out there. This is that house
Travis,
was way too much house.
It was
That
it's
house
bonkers.
It was way too much house for 4 people.
And in fucking Manhattan, I'm like, that in Ogden would cost $1 million.
Oh, dude, that thing. No, it sold. I looked online. It's like it sold a couple of years ago, and it was like $8 million. Oh,
really?
So yeah. Which now I think of it isn't too crazy.
That's not, even these days. I mean, now it would be $15 million.
Honestly, yeah. Because actually, when I say a few years ago, I think that was like 2008 or something. It was like,
What's your favorite part? The credits?
Dude, actually, no. Honestly, though,
The
those
opening
credits were sick as
again,
shit,
yeah.
dude. Those opening credits, like I like, they stood out to me for sure.
Well, and they're really juxtaposed, you know what I mean, with the rest of the movie, because it's like huge, massive cityscapes. And then the whole rest of the movie's like one house, fucking one room, can't even breathe half the time. And then so it is kind of nice at the very end. I think it's a little bit unnecessary, but I'm sure. But the very last where they're sitting on the bench.
On the bench, right.
And it is a slow vertigo shot, if you'll notice.
Yeah.
It's like the but it's like interesting because it feels like decompression. Like I feel like it is nice.
Yeah.
Like thanks for giving me that to like let me. It's the sigh at the end of the movie. But it's they're outside again.
Life goes on. It's
look
a
how
happy
much
ending,
look how much space they're in now. It's the most space you've seen them in the whole movie.
The husband definitely has like a tick now, and he's not doing great. That's for sure. Forrest Whitaker is not happy
he's
either.
He's pooping in a bag, and Forrest Whitaker's in prison 25 to life, easy.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker will never see his child again. It's heartbreaking. So we don't think about the logistics, but I think the safe cracking is my favorite part.
It's awesome. Well,
hands
and
down.
the extreme
It's so fast, but
close-ups
it's
too.
so perfect. Extreme close-ups. The like, just everything about it gets like the drill. As his setup is so practiced.
The audio design, dude, of the like he plugs in the magnet and flips it in, and it's just like it's good.
It's a good movie.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite movie. It's not even close.
No.
It's not even my top 5 David Fincher movie. But this just goes to show.
No.
This just goes to show, David Fincher's the man.
He's a good director.
He is a great director.
I'm sad that House of Cards is on his his
House of Cards was really good until
House of Cards was good.
Kevin Spacey fucking was a horrible murderer.
Yeah, I'm just sad that Kevin Spacey had to eat.
Well, it sucks because even Kevin Spacey used to be among my favorite actors.
Yep.
I was gonna say you would ask me 10 years ago, Kevin Spacey would have been like top 10 for me. So
yeah, he would have been on the tip of my tongue.
I mean, I still think he's a good actor, but so is Tom Cruise, and he's insane. So
right, I know, and like
a lot of horrible people are good. Like we've had this conversation.
It's true. A lot of horror people. We have had this
horrible
people. I
do
like
make
that.
great artists. Who knew?
Right, I was gonna say there's a lot of horrible people that have done like that have used their power and abused it, and then have produced things that we've enjoyed. So, anyhow. If we didn't watch things that were made by terrible people, we'd watch nothing. So
moving on, we're done talking about this. The last thriller. So what I was saying is I was upset kind of because I was like, oh, we're right on track. I'm not upset, but first thriller movie, Hitchcock. Can't go wrong. Second thriller movie, Paul Verhoeven. Awesome. Great. Third thriller movie, Fincher. Can't go wrong, man. Like these guys do fucking thrillers. I thought for sure the fourth thriller movie would be Denis Villeneuve. Because 2 of his movies were in the poll, and I guess at the end of the day, maybe they ended up fighting against each other. But Sicario and Prisoners, but then I'm not mad, because also main man Scorsese ended up winning this one with Shutter Island, which I haven't seen probably in
I saw it in theaters, and that's it.
I saw it in theaters, and I saw it once after that, so I probably have, because that came out in 2010, so it's been a while. And I'm down to check it back because I remember it's a lot different than the rest of Scorsese's filmography, but we should still watch Sicario. I'm salty though that fucking Killer Joe got bent over the barrel in that vote.
Did he get like 3 or 4 votes? I don't even remember.
It's
nothing.
Dude, it's harsh. It's like pains me because honestly, other than Green Room, Killer Joe's easily my second favorite movie on the list.
Yeah. No, yeah, same. Well, I haven't seen Sicario, but I can imagine that I'll like Sicario, but
Sicario's
not
great.
as much as Green Room or Killer Joe.
Killer
Those are just
Joe.
such little. Those are called like those are like indie gems or like little nuggets of just fucking
They are.
like
Untainted,
unbridled,
beautiful,
unbridled cinematography.
beautiful
Like,
nuggets.
like even Sicario like has its producers breathing down its neck. It's like, but Killer Joe and Green Room, no, dude, those guys don't have producers. Like they don't have a big producer that's like trying to, they're not testing those
I
waters.
saw Killer Joe with you and David in theaters when I lived in LA.
God, that's
And
so good.
we saw it, and it was the NC-17 version.
Yeah.
And we didn't really know anything about it except for like, oh, William Friedkin, cool. And
Right.
it blew my flipping socks off.
I know dude, and it's like it's when oh my God, whatever, all right, like
McConaughey.
McConaughey was
Before
like
he made his comeback, that was the start
Right.
of it, because
Right. It was like
that
he was
came
doing
out.
weird abstract shit.
Yeah.
He wasn't just being a pretty boy anymore. He was doing weird stuff.
well, that came out, and then True Detective, the first season of True Detective came out
Yeah.
like right after that. And so I saw both of those back to back, and I was like, McConaughey, where you been, dude?
Yeah, dude.
And then-
really. And
and
then
then he-
Mud's great too.
And then Mud, and then he won the Oscar in like 2015 for Dallas Buyers
For-
Club, and
for
then,
Dallas
and then
Buyers, yeah.
everyone was like McConaughey. McConaughey
Right.
crushes it. But in Killer Joe, that was back when he was allowed. He was great, but he was allowed to be weird enough.
It's so weird,
Is,
dude. He's not quite
this
to
is
the
a total.
level.
This is a total.
This
ramble,
is
but
ramble. This is ramble. Sorry,
I was
everybody.
watching Killer Joe alone at John's house one time, and everyone came home in the middle of it, and I paused it, and it's that scene where she's like undressing, and he's like, "I'm 12 years old again," and he's like touching himself and stuff. But everyone came in, and she's like half naked, and they're like, "Whoa, what are you watching?" I'm like, "Trust me, this is not as hot as you think it is. This is very uncomfortable. So I'm gonna just turn it off right now. We'll finish it later."
Yeah, dude. He almost goes full Nick Cage in that movie, but it's like,
Yeah, it's pretty good. Everyone in that movie's good. Anyway, so we're watching not Killer Joe. We're watching Shutter Island next week.
Shutter Island, which I'm excited to see again because I liked it a lot when I saw it. But I'm kind of like, I hope it grows on me, and I hope I learn something new about myself.
Same, and I felt the same way about. I felt like I remember seeing it and be like, that was not what I expected.
Yeah.
So I'm interested
right.
with more perspective now. How much?
Yeah.
If I'll
Well,
enjoy
dude,
more
I
or
get-
enjoy less.
I get Inception and Shutter Island literally mixed together. I think of scenes from each movie, and I'm like, was that the same movie? And then they like came out around the same time, and anyways.
Yeah.
Everybody out there in the world, you can support us on Patreon. That'd be great. If you want to be one of our patrons, you can go to Patreon. But if you want to call in and leave a message like Travis, we would love to hear from you. You can dial the phone number 801-613-1501. Thank you.
Yep, thanks for listening. Check out the Reddit. We are doing horror movies very, very soon. As of now,
We're gonna get
the
so
list
spooky, dude.
are so spooky. The list is not locked, but your opinions of getting a movie in there are gone because we're going to figure out the list right after this. So get ready for that to drop on your noggins and get ready for 31 days of spooky dooky, ooky booky horror and then some. So, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
We're gonna open the crypt.
Check out Panic Room. Goodbye.
All right. Bye. Oh, I gotta figure out how to record.
Ah,
How do I
shoot.
record?